Hi boys and girls! In this video I'm going to be doing your language arts lesson with you today. If you have your worksheet in front of you, at the top it says Sounds of Long I, and we are going to be learning about different ways when we are writing to make the long I sound. Now we learned way back at the beginning of first grade, all of our vowels A, E, I, O, and U each have a short and a long sound. And we know that the short I sound is the I sound, like lip or hit. We also know that the long I sound says its name, I. Now, we learned about the magic or the bossy E, where if the E is on the end of a word, it makes that I say its name. And so words like kite or bike, when we add that E to the end, the I says its name, I. Well, in our English language, there are more than one way, or there is more than one way, rather, to write the long I sound. And so that's what we are going to be learning about today. You might have noticed all of your spelling words this week have a long I sound in them. And each of those words uses different spelling patterns. So I'm going to make myself smaller here, and then down here on my whiteboard, I'm going to go over just a little bit about those spelling patterns. So on this sheet, you may or may not have noticed that all of the words I want you sorting are your 12 spelling words this week. So not only are you doing a Sounds of Long I sort, but you're using the spelling words from your spelling list this week. So you're getting practice with your spelling words and practice sorting those long I sounds. So we know, as I told you, that one way that we can write our long I is with the I consonant E. And my screen's going to be sideways for a second, so I'm going to have to flip it for you. But let me just write this word bike, B-I-K-E. Okay. And let's see if I can rotate. Let's keep going. There it is. Okay. Here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so bike, I have the I and then a consonant and E. And this E makes the I say its name. And that's one I spelling pattern that we learned way back at the beginning of first grade. Now we are going to be looking at I, G, H. And when you see that I, G, H, if you were to try to sound that out by saying the different sounds, it looks like ig, huh, ig. And so when you see those words like bright and night and light, if we were trying to just sound those out and we didn't know that IGH makes the I sound, we would try to sound these words out like brigade, and we would not be able to decode them very easily. So it's important that you not only recognize this in our spelling words this week, but that you put it in your brain, in one of those little drawers in your brain, that when you see that IGH when you are reading, that you pronounce that I, okay? We don't say ig. So this word here is light, not ligut, okay? And I know you may or may not be laughing, but it sounds funny when I say it, but it's one of those things that I see a lot when you're sounding out words, and it doesn't mean that you're not smart. It's that maybe your teacher has never taught you. So now I'm teaching you. When you see IGH, that is a long I sound. So when you see that, you pronounce it I. So if I were to put an S-I-G-H, I would pronounce that sigh, like a sigh. If we look at words like night, N-I-G-H-T, we pronounce that n-I-T, night. Okay? So that's one way that we can spell the long I sound. Another way that we're learning this week is the I-E. And again, if I were to try to sound that out, I might say eh. But I'm teaching you now that when you see that I-E together, we pronounce it with the long I. So if I were to put the letter P in front of it, I would have pie. If I were to put the letter, T in front of it, I would have tie. Okay? So I-E, when we see that in our writing, we sound it out, I, like the long I. And then finally, I've told you that the vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. And a lot of times you'll raise your hand and say, but when times Y? When is Y a vowel? Well, in words like sky, my, by. Anytime the Y makes that I sound, that Y is acting like a vowel. So when we see that Y all by itself, usually we can bet our dollars that it's going to make the I sound, like in dry and fly. Okay? So when you are working with your spelling words this week and when you are doing this sort, keep in mind when you see IGH, when you see IE, when you see Y by itself, and if you see I with a consonant and then an E, all of those are different ways to say the long I sound. Okay? So now knowing that, you are going to, on your own, because I fully believe you can do this, cut out your spelling words for this week and then sort them into the proper columns. So if it uses the IGH, you'll glue it here. If it uses the IE, you'll glue it here. And if it uses the Y, you'll glue it here. And when you're all done sorting and gluing your spelling words down, if you'd like to color this beautiful picture up here for me, that would be awesome. You don't have to, but I love when you do. And then you can take a picture and upload that to Class Dojo for me so that I can take a peek at it and get you some credit for getting it done. Okay? I hope that you were able to learn a little bit today. I hope that you have locked these long I spelling patterns into your brain so that when you are reading and writing, you remember them. And I look forward to working more with you on the long I sounds this week. See you later.